5 or 6 years ago. And a few years ago, they started to have bad relations.
It got to a point where if I left my home on this side of the street and walked to my rental house, if one of these family members were out there, I could expect to hear something. You never knew when it was going to happen, or how it was going to happen, or what was going to bring it up, but the word queer would come out.
He spoke to an attorney, and the attorney advised him, hey, look, you know, if you have some sort of evidence, maybe we can discuss this, but right now it's your word against theirs.
One of the attorneys suggested that I could videotape the harassment that had occurred, but I couldn't prove. Then the difficulty was, fine, a video camera is great, but how do you get somebody to do something on video camera that they've been very careful about not letting other people see?
One day, he was mowing the lawn on the rental property he had next to the Huffs, and Mr. Huff called him an anti-gay name. And he knew from previous experience that when these harassments started, that it usually kept going. So he went across the street and set up his video camera.
So I sat the camera down on top of the TV and aimed it across the street to pick up both my lawn and their driveway. Whenever I would leave the house, I would turn it on. Then I could go across the street. It's self-adjusting. I could do the work on my lawn knowing that the camera could take care of itself. I felt that if I put myself on that lawn next door to them, that they would come out and harass me the way that they always have. And I'd finally get it on film. I had no idea to what extent this was going to go.
He turned on his camera, hoping that if anything did happen, he might have some sort of evidence recorded.
On the day of the incident, Mr. Huff came home while I was mowing the lawn. Now, this has always been a gripe for him. Anytime he sees grass trimmings on his driveway, he raises Cain about it. And I'm always pretty good about getting it off as soon as I can. The father had come across the street with the grass trimmings after I had swept them out into the street, brought them over to my house, dumped them on my front porch. When I saw that, I grabbed a handful of it, walked back over to his property and tossed it right in his driveway and said, ha, you're not going to get away with this. Mrs. Huff came out with a camera, and she started taking pictures of me and the grass trimmings that I had tossed on their driveway. A few minutes later, the young man comes out, Joshua Huff, and he is going to get it straightened out. I tried to avoid him and just tell him, go get your father, and he and I will settle this. Well, he wasn't having any part of that. He was going to get this settled right then and there.
Josh is becoming more aggressive. His voice becomes louder, saying, pick him up. Josh keeps trying to egg him on. Come on, you faggot. Come on, you faggot.
I had the hose in my hand. I remember looking at him and telling him, get off my property, and he hit me in the mouth. And I figured he was coming after me again, and I just squirted him with the hose.
Joshua then takes off his shirt. I'm exposing my body to you. I've got my tattoos on my arms and my chest. And starts saying, faggot, repeatedly, faggot.
And then it was just a continuous pummeling of being hit in the head, the face, the back, several kicks to the chest and to the face. Now, by this time, the Huff family was outside their house and on my lawn, calling me every name in the book. Mrs. Huff starts telling me, you squirted water on my son? What kind of an ass are you? How dare you attack my minor child? The video is very specific. It caught the words and the wording. It was very important. She wasn't talking about little Josh. She was talking about her legal minor child.
I think that she was trying to build a suit, a civil suit, against Mr. Kiley, and I think that she thought this was her key.
I was bleeding, and the only thing, frankly, that I wanted to do was get in my home and see how much damage had been done. I stopped just long enough to hear Joshua yelling at me again.
After Mr. Kiley gets beaten up, he goes in and calls 911 and says, you know, I've been beaten up.
Is this the 911?
Yes, it is.
I was just attacked by one of my neighbors.
Okay, do you need any medical attention?
I think so.
At the same time, the Huffs are on the line saying, hey, we've just had our neighbor who beat up our son.
Your son was fighting with the guy?
The guy assaulted my son. I want an officer out here right now.
I understand that. I'm going to send the police. I'm just trying to find out what's going on exactly.
Joshua Huff was saying, he attacked me, I didn't do anything. Joshua Huff had no knowledge that the whole incident had been recorded. Based on the police report itself, there was really no question in our minds that there was an assault and a battery, and definitely a hate crime, but it was going to be tough to prove.
In the morning session, the courtroom was almost packed.
I showed the videotape right after my opening statement because the video in 20 seconds or less showed the hatred.
Videotape, a picture worth 1,000 words. His tattoos.
Josh had tattoos of a swastika, of skulls and warrior figures that the expert linked to skinhead belief that the white race was the supreme race and that everyone else was to be hated.
Of a skinhead. On day 2 of the hate trial, the attacker's attorney, John McCardle, hammered
The only
away.
question that the defense lawyer tried to raise was whether or not this was a hate crime. The reason he presented no testimony was because the videotape clearly showed that he had assaulted and battered Mr. Kiley, and there was no defense to it. There certainly would have been a defense had there not been a videotape.
In a rare on-camera interview, McCardle later said he rested his case because the prosecutor didn't prove hers.
You didn't feel like you had to present a case?
Well, under criminal law, you don't have to present a case. You know that as well as I do.
What were the flaws in her case?
You were in the courtroom, weren't you? Yeah. You know the answer.
I can't articulate to a judge a certain specific emotion and passion or hatred, but when you have a videotape where you've got Joshua Huff actually attacking and making contact with the skin where you hear it, you see that all that is based on hate. Without that video, to just tell the judge, well, he hit him, Your Honor, because he's gay and he's called him faggot. Then you have, you know, the age-old argument, oh, no, it was just a meaningless word. But no, not when you have a video. You get the idea that it's all based on hatred towards gays. And that was the reason that I think that we were successfully able to prosecute the case.
The camcorder has become an empowering weapon in the legal system. Bill Kiley's videotape resulted in the first successful conviction of a hate crime in Santa Clara County. Joshua Huff was sentenced to 10 months in a youth jail. When we return, a surveillance camera turns little devils into little angels. Stay with us.
Someone messes up your hair.
Because it got rules on the bus. No drinking.
Stay in your seat when the bus is moving.
Not to be too loud, you know. I used to not follow the rules. I said, well, I ain't following the rules.
We feel like that it's not really a discipline problem, it's a safety problem.
The little camera looks out, and what it does, it films on video the students as they're riding down the road.
The purpose of the monitor is to actually tell the truth on what happens in the school bus. This is a metal box that we've designed to house our camera.
And this is the mounting plate that holds it stable in the box. And when this door is closed, this is all you see.
Many times they'll walk up to the box and look in, try to see if the camera's in it, but actually they cannot see the camera. We have boxes on all of our buses, and we have cameras that we rotate around. The students do not know whether the camera's in the box or not.
With the way it's set up with the mirror, you never know if it's on or not, so it makes you kind of wonder, should I do it or not? It just gives everybody that little guilty conscience.
The camera is the best thing since bottled Coke. It has helped. Kids can't lie now. They can't tell the stories. They have to tell the truth. If they doesn't, when it comes back, guarantee they will tell the truth.
I've been in trouble on a bus, and I try to lie off of it, but I couldn't. They had me on camera. It make you feel sad when everybody see you, you're acting crazy and stuff. I feel it's kind of sad.
At first, I think the camera was just a prank, you know, and I didn't think it was real serious. When they first called me in the office and told me I was off the bus for 3 days, I took it serious then.
When the videos came out, I could tell the parent, you really need to come up and view the videos, because when you can get the parents to see what is going on and what we're faced with, and they can support you, then that's 99% of the battle right there.
When we told them that they were on video, you could have walked in any church service on Sunday morning and got the same reaction.
Drivers come in laughing in the afternoon instead of just throw their keys and walk out. We just kind of came up with the motto of turns little devils into little angels.
They respect the camera now, because they know if they don't, they're going to pay the price for it.